Okay, folks, today I am at Painesville Railroad Museum in Painesville, Ohio, and Phil here is going to bring us on a tour.
Yep,
and
we might have one of our other gentlemen.
Yes, we might have another tour guide, and I'm going to start with letting you all know that it's by donation. There's no fee.
That's correct.
It's all by donation, which they did get a donation from me all, so don't be yelling at me. Make sure you give one. And I just want to point out the cool railroad crossing. So as soon as you come in, there's like all kinds of neat stuff. Pappy, I know you'd be all into this. If you haven't been here yet, you got to get up here. So the property for the Railroad Museum goes all the way down to the next road, so you need to come up here and give them plenty of donations because they would like to expand. So also when you walk in is the Welcome to Painesville Railroad Museum, established in 1997, providing the most scenic routes in America. Okay, so as I said, Phil and another gentleman will be talking about the museum now.
Okay, this here is our in-house store. People can buy things here and or leave donations or pick up T-shirts and stuff, which we have over here.
Yeah, I'll check them out later.
We
also check the price.
We also host events, or we can host events, and so we have our food line here. We have it catered. We can hold up to 60 people on a sit-down event.
Well, that's nice.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
If people wish to rent the place out, we can do that.
Yes. All our displays are on wheels, and we just move them out of the way.
I'll have to keep that in mind, actually.
One of our claims to fame is in this case over here. And it is a Lionel locomotive from 1908. It's called the Model 6 Special. Model 6 Lionel did produce, and they were made. This is a special, and there's only 3 of these known to exist. And the main difference is the wheels on the tender.
I'll get in close for you so you can see the wheels. That's cool.
It's highly collectible.
Yep, highly
I
collectible.
could imagine if there's only 3 of them known in existence.
Yep,
you guys.
Right. It was never produced, so and there's a motor in there and everything.
So
Lionel took that trolley and put a battery-operated motor in it in order to run on standard gauge track.
some of these are even before my time.
Yeah. So all these are from one family donated these. And so we have an eyes engine there, a couple cars, and a station. We even have railroad magazines from 1918.
Wow. I
Which
bet you
are
those
pretty
things
cool.
are gentle to touch. And there we got Conrail, which was big where Mr. Traveler grew up. I grew up in Altoona, PA.
Yes.
And I think New York Central actually
And
was the
another
main
one is,
railroad here, wasn't it?
We were part of the New York Central. That's correct.
Yes, New York Central, and this is a jacket from a passenger line from Penn Central,
That is nice.
which is actually a New York Central jacket with Penn Central buttons and tags. That's kind of unique.
You know what this room in here, what it originally was? This was originally the freight room.
Okay. So the entrance where we came in the store, as he said, was the freight room.
Yeah, a Railroad Express Agency operated it out of there. And we actually have a ticket. There we have tickets there when for freight. And we have the CP&E and the Lakeshore and Southern Michigan Railroad.
Is that a the ticket, not ticket, the
That's
that
what-
they kept track of the book?
Oh, those are rule books. And I think we have some paperwork for what they kept a record of.
I wish I would have known. I had some old railroad where they had like entries for each of the railroads when they still were doing it in ink and that.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately,
all
I
the
sold
stuff that
I
you see
sold
in,
that
all the
stuff.
stuff you
but
see in here has been donated.
Yeah.
yeah. Unfortunately, as I said,
And we have this cabinet here, when it was the Lakeshore and Southern Michigan, that's before it was New York Central. This is all memorabilia from that railroad. Everything is marked.
so I imagine some of this is pretty old too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then is this what this is? Oh wow, I can't, that's fancy writing. Cleveland, Painesville, and Ashtabula Railroad Strip.
Mm-hmm. CP&A, and this
first-
is from 1854.
That
This is dated.
certificate.
Mm-hmm.
And the CP&A was the first railroad on this site.
Yeah. So as I said, having grown up in Altoona, I don't know that much about the railroad history up here. Now, ask me about Altoona.
Yes, when you're thinking about this building built in 1893, at that time, this was a top-of-the-line building for that time of period. And why they would build that here? Well, people don't realize that this area was very popular because of the
lake.
The lake.
Yeah.
So you had these big harbors here, Fairport Harbor, Ashtabula Harbor, which was doing a lot of stuff that the railroads eventually took over doing. And so there's a lot of people that lived in this area. And it also, they produced a lot of food that went to downtown Cleveland.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Have you heard of Dock Road out in Madison?
Yeah.
You know the history behind it?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, Dock Road was the location of probably one of the biggest shipbuilding locations on Lake Erie back in its day, which is surprising.
Yeah, that's. You wouldn't think. Now you wouldn't think of that
No,
area as
no.
being anything big, but that's, I do know, like with Altoona, it actually was on Hitler's bomb list.
Was it?
Yeah, because of the horseshoe curve.
Yeah.
And all the guys, all the servicemen from the east, from New York City and, east, went around the horseshoe curve going west.
Sure, and that would disrupt
And,
things.
a lot came from here too.
Yeah.
These are pictures from World War II of the
Our
troop
station.
trains coming and picking up guys who went to war.
Comes the CSX.
Now we have a train going by.
So y'all are getting the museum plus the train.
Very much. Some of the documentation
That,
books,
yeah, this, I had one, well, not from Cleveland, but I had one like this. But unfortunately, I sold it, or I would have been giving it to you all. I was a flea market vendor for a while. So, is that an actual hat that was worn, or is that was that from the New York Central also, or?
Yes, it is. It's a brakeman hat.
So there is the New York Central brakeman hat. Oh wow, I didn't spot the old phones.
And we get a lot of different donations. This room that we're in right now was the original men's waiting room. and it has vaulted ceilings.
Oh, I guess that's why you have a spittoon in the men's waiting room.
Part of it, yeah. And we don't know the exact layout that was in here, but we figured there were benches like this style here. You can see around the corner. There's a bench there. We figured there were benches in this area. And like the ticket taker over here. Obviously they curved the windows so they can see the trains coming and departing.
There used to be a B&O tower here in Painesville, which is no longer there. And that desk is from there, over there. And these are from there. And these are the switches, how they control the switches. And our museum would be right there. This is the passenger line that came. Our museum would be right there. And then back in the day, they had two other lines on the other side of the main line for storage of engines.
We got
This is the original little layout from Farm Park.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It was made for Farm Park. Then when they upgraded everything, their space, they didn't have room for it, so we have it now. In fact, one of our members has helped them build it.
Oh, that's cool.
So one side is N-scaled and the other side here is HO. So we can, they have a button, you can press the button and the trains will run.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there it goes over to the other side. And here it comes. This is neat. I wish I would have been here before.
Ooh. Oh, we need the clean track right there.
I know, it's always that spot.
So is this side still the farm park, or?
Yeah, this is from the Farm Park.
Okay. So there's a barn up on 84 in Perry that has that Ohio.
Ohio thing on it. Mm-hmm.
Lot bigger.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, a lot of barns in Ohio look like that.
That's cool. In Pennsylvania, you get the true mail pouch, which even those are disappearing.
We have one of our members here who passed away. His dad worked here when it was closed. He's over there on the phone. And this is him when he was a kid up here.
And we had a real life hobo that lived around the neighborhood.
And we had a hobo that was in here in 30s and 40s, Hobo Willie.
That's cool.
And here's a picture when the Railroad Express was over on the far end of the building.
So is that Hobo Willie there too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And this is Mr. Albert working the switch machines. He's from Erie. I think he was in the B&O Tower at one time. Then they moved him down to the Terminal Tower, and then from there to the Rockefeller Building, which is where that picture is from. So currently he's got a son who's a CXS engineer, and his other son lives in Chardon. He comes in here periodically. So it's like a
lot
small
of
little
history
family
here.
group, you know. Some of the stuff we found down in the basement.
Yeah, there's an actual full basement underneath this.
I'll probably tell my kids, because a lot of my railroad stuff I've kept.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I say, you grew up in Altoona. Railroading got into your blood.
Sure.
So
Yes.
I'm not ready to give it up. But I know my kids ain't gonna be interested in it, so I'll tell them, hey,
Yeah,
give it
somehow
to-
we get a spur
Well,
of
you
interest.
know, that generation that kind of jumped over, but I'll tell you, a lot of little kids really know. We have a lot of little kids that come in here and they know what they're looking at.
Cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, because of TV videos and different shows, they absorbed everything like a sponge. This is our Collinwood picture wall. And of course, our other claim to fame is our street running engine called the 999, which is a replica of the first engine that went 100 miles an hour up the Hudson Valley.
Wow.
And the story on that is a group of World War I veterans who were working in there wanted an engine for their American Legion hall to do parades. And so they were working on it after work, and their foreman caught them working there saying, "What are you guys doing?" And they told them, and they said, "What a good idea." They were allowed to finish the engine on their regular work time.
That's awesome.
And then New York Central people took the engine on the road, and they did parades. It's been in the Macy's parade, our Cleveland parade, Syracuse parade. I think they were in a Rochester parade. So that, you know.
West Coast. I went out to the West
No,
Coast.
they didn't go to the West Coast.
They did, I think. They shipped it out there at one point.
They did. So they were really proud of it because it really is
Oh,
cool,
it should
and we'll
be.
go out and look at
Yeah.
it. It's in our barn. It eventually came under the control of the Collinwood Alumni Association, and they are the ones who donated it to us.
That is really, really neat. Let me say again, folks, you gotta come up here. I tell you what,
Employees
this
of
is a
Collinwood
gem.
Yard at the time.
See all the. I don't know the exact route, but like my dad was from New York City, and he goes, I actually came through El Tunnel well before I knew I was going to be living there, because he traveled on the Horseshoe Curve.
Yeah.
Now where they went from there, I'm not sure.
To New York City.
No, he came
Oh.
from New York City. He
Oh.
was headed out west.
Oh,
He served on the USS Baltimore,
okay.
and
so
he
was
went
in
out to the Pacific.
Yeah.
He actually was on the ship when they started dropping the bombs,
Oh, okay.
which I didn't know. I didn't realize my dad, because he wouldn't talk about it. He was,
See, my dad was out there too, and I know he wasn't on the front line, but his ship was sometimes involved in pulling bodies out of the ocean. Yeah, and different
Yes.
things. So this layout here is from the original Hobby Lobby store.
So where was the original Hobby Lobby? Because I thought that was like a New England.
The one here is.
And we got another one.
Another train. I'm not sure where the original store was myself.
Yeah, I could be wrong too. I
don't know if it was in Minter Mall, and then they moved. When I think they moved to where they are now, they didn't have room for it. So.
I was mentioning that property, that goes all the way down.
Right.
We have plans on paper, architectural rendering, additional buildings we'd like to build, but it's going to take some time and money.
Yeah, that everything does. There's still the Altoona Museum, as I said, is much bigger because I mean they were really what they did was the old Conrail shops where they built the trains.
Right.
They've turned into the museum.
Right.
So, but even with them, they're still expanding and refurbishing trains and.
Yeah, we're just a small museum with memorabilia.
Oh, and I tell you what, though, it's awesome, guys. You're doing a good job. So, what's the picture of the fires? Was that a?
Is that the wreck that happened on that?
Yeah, that's that big tank car wreck.
It happened down the line a few miles.
What year was that?
Yeah, I can't remember the year. Early
I don't know,
2000s?
3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, I thought it was longer than that.
Oh, I guess I was actually here then when it happened.
I think it was I know the one I'm thinking of. They evacuated all the homes that were in that area down there at the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Oh.
Just on the other side of 44.
Okay. And that isn't the most recent one where they evacuated people in that. That one was down south, wasn't it? With the train
yes,
that,
correct. Yeah,
that wrecked the chemicals
Yep.
or...
Yeah, that was just a few years ago for sure.
Yeah. I got Santa Fe. Well, that... A lot, like my brother lives in Minnesota. And he's like, are you guys okay? It's like, yeah.
We also have this man was involved in doing inside molding on railroad stations. So we know for sure he worked on this one here, the Erie Railroad Station, Jamestown, New York. We're not sure if he worked on this one or not. But we got all his tools in here for doing moldings.
Wow.
You know, he would make them right on spot.
As you all can see, this was patented back in 1873.
What's interesting is he was a local fellow.
Yeah, that's... You don't think about this area being as historical with the railroads, but
Yeah.
because of the lake, I think, you did have a lot.
Yeah, they're different branch lines too.
And you all have heard of the Headless Horseman. Well, here's the Headless Railroad Man. So they do have benches and picnic tables here that you can sit and watch when the trains come.
All this brickwork at one time was taken up and piled up. This is all original brickwork that was down here when the station was built.
Wow.
So we had to put it
More
back.
history, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be getting up to a couple of the trains they have. I'm trying not to...
Big trunks, and they very big trunks. They have
We
very
have our
big
cabooses
luggage
from
trucks, in which they
1927,
would have, put those on.
donated to us by Lubrizol.
Oh.
And they used to have it on their property, and they would, if managers weren't up to snuff, they'd give them time out in the caboose. Well, when they expanded and created more things, they didn't have room for it, so they donated it to us.
Oh.
And lo and behold, shortly after it was donated, somebody set it on fire.
Oh, jeez.
And when we took over the property, this was just a skeleton. You know, just a steel frame was left.
Did a lot of work.
Yeah, they
It looks really good.
Sure.
That's...
Yeah, so we were able to get the restoration plans from Lubrizol, and that's what we followed when
cool.
you know, it was rebuilt. So we had a pretty big group of people who worked on it.
And everybody's glad that you two are bringing me around, because when I heard about the fire, I'd usually preach to people. Don't do that crap.
Yeah.
I'm going to preach to you anyway.
Yeah. I think we mentioned too, we also have different events here coming up. We have Hobo Days and
Oh, that'd be neat. When is that?
We're going to have a multi-museum day in is it October or September? We're going to have different museums here when we have our open house and flea market. So we'll have a National Museum Day, and they will explain their museums and different stuff to the people who come here.
Hobo Days is coming up in just a couple weeks. What's the actual date again on Hobo Days? You remember? Is it the 15th or 23rd? Hobo Days.
Mm-hmm. This is our 999.
I'm going to walk around this for you.
We just did a parade this past weekend.
Where was that?
I think it was Airport Harbor.
Airport Harbor.
Oh, okay, so that was close.
4th of July parade.
That was a close one.
And sadly, it's the last one.
In Fairport, or?
It's the last one they're having.
Oh,
Because of, part of it finances, but most of it I think is people who run it.
oh, yeah. Everybody gets old.
Yeah. This is really nice. And we got a Walnut Creek.
This is over 90 years old and we're still running it on the road.
This is Zip Hess. He's part of the live steamers out of Kirtland. Him and some buddies built this from scratch. Of course, he's no longer with us. It's been on display in downtown Willoughby for a while, and then it kind of like got shoved aside. And the family donated it to us so people can see it.
Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And as Phil said, they're still running this, and
Still running it, over 90 years old.
And then one of the things is the Collinwood Alumni Association has been very much involved with us, and they wanted to have a record of the painting that's in the hallways of the school. And this is what this is up here on the wall. This is copies of what's painted on the hallways, which was painted in 1935.
Wow.
Last summer the high school was 100 years old. And then we have some memorabilia from that.
And Collinwood holds a reunion every year. We usually take this out to it.
they probably love that.
Yep.
So this was a lot of fun. Thank you, Phil and Eddie.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, we have one more thing to
Oh.
show you.
Okay, cool. We get to see something else, people.
Our next big project is the restoration of an 1865 horse-drawn trolley.
Oh, check this out. You can see how they're already starting to work on the restoration of this trolley.
Yeah, this one's going to be a love affair.
Yeah, this is gonna.
Has all the original hardware on there. The roof is intact. It's just this one side has severe weather deterioration.
Trolley number?
Has a light on it.
So, where did this come from?
Actually, this is out of the Bolton estate.
Was it from Cleveland though?
Hmm?
Was it from Cleveland? I don't know if we're certain on that, but
By the number on it, they pretty well assumed this ran on East 9th Street in downtown Cleveland.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's going to be some time,
Yes.
but I'll be out to
It'll
see it
be
when
some
y'all.
time.
I'm
It'll
sure you'll
it'll
be
take some
advertising
time.
that. We did it.
and he's going to be here 24/7 for the next 10 years.
It has the original benches that are in there, and the windows have wooden shutters, as you can see right there. All the wooden shutters are here. It's just that the outside on the sides needs some work.
Yeah.
And of course, they painted everything white, and underneath the white paint is, the Victorian age used painting and for decoration, and some of that you can see over here. Reds and golds and different things would have been kind of neat. The windows have, red paint over it.
Yeah, you can
A red
see
stain.
that. Even down here it has kind of red.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this will be really nice when it's done.
Yes.
But yeah, lot of work.
And then over on top of the back door is a company that built it, their logo, which they put on the back
Yeah,
up above the
I'm
door.
not sure I'm totally getting it on the camera, but I can see it.
We can get
Can
up
we?
there on the back.
Oh. Okay,
See, up on top.
there we go. I hope you are all enjoying this as much as I am. This is a lot of fun.
And
And-
here's another homemade job made on a lawnmower frame in the 60s that was donated. They have it up and running. We should probably have it outside for the hobo day. Give rides for kids.
That's
They
really
use
cool.
it for their little local parades. It's kind of neat.
And
Yeah.
It's called the
333, which is half the size of our other bus.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, okay, folks. Gotta say,
And
few.
we have-
Oh, they
we
got
have
something else. Oh. There's a lot more than I thought. When you say you're
small but
small,
compact.
but you got a lot.
Now, we were, this is interesting how this came here, because it came on its side on a lowboy, and on our website has movies. In fact, on YouTube there's 5 movies. If you punch in boxcar move, CXX boxcar move, it'll come up on TikTok. And what I wanted to show you on here are hobo tags. This boxcar is from 1976 and it came from Florida. And these here faded white markings are hobo tags. People who have ridden on it legally or illegally or whatever.
Yeah, I think, wasn't it mostly illegally?
Did you mention the special markings that they
Yeah.
used?
Well, they each, the hobo would do the same thing every time. Although knowing who they are, we don't know.
No, but it was like their form of communication.
Yeah.
Yeah, they signed out where they've been. You know. And then one of our, this guy is supposed to be real famous, but the guy told us about it, didn't remember who he was. But I've seen that marking on other boxcars that have traveled through here. Once you know what to look for, you'll see there's quite a few cars with
Yeah.
markings on them. Like
See,
that.
now when I get,
Generally, they're all like a faded white.
so now I know something more to look for on these.
Yes. It's not this other painting stuff.
Yeah,
This
the
is a
graffiti.
different group of people.
Yeah, this is the graffiti,
Yeah.
and that's the hobos. So I want to thank both of you. This is great. So
Well, that's it in a nutshell.
right, and if you're in this area, you got to come up and
Yeah,
check it out.
The address is 475 Railroad Street.
And I will. I'm pretty sure you have a website, right?
We do.
I will tag the website in the description box below, people.
Right.
So
that
you
has
can.
our hours of operation. And then while you're here, you can zoom in on the picture. There's a restaurant right across the street, and the
Yeah,
third
good place to have
generation of the
lunch.
family is renting it. So they've been there quite a long time. And that's the building that housed engineers when they had stopovers.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if you enjoyed this, make sure you give the thumbs up, share it out. You know all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And you all have a great day now. God bless.